My name is David Morton. I'm the Landscape Curator here at Brucemore. It's a 26-acre estate located in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and it's one of the few National Trust historic sites in the Midwest. And this show is about how to create this little piece of paradise in your own backyard. A day in the life of a gardener.
Sure.
So welcome to this episode of A Day in the Life of a Garden. We are out here in North Liberty at Colony Family Farms, and we wanted to show you what you're looking for when you're pulling out a Christmas tree, a live Christmas tree, and you want to bring that scent in from the outdoors, indoors. And Katie is going to help us today, give us an idea of what we're looking for when we're buying a live Christmas tree.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes,
we
no
really
problem.
appreciate you letting us come out here onto your farm.
We're in our second week of Christmas tree sales, so our supply is way down, but that's pretty normal right after Thanksgiving weekend.
Right.
A lot of people have already picked their trees, but these are our smallest trees. So we've got 6 to 7 size trees. When we set ours up according to size. So we put all of our varieties together, but we put them by size. So as you look at these, you can tell there's a little bit of variety. They're all roughly the same size, but there's a variety of the colors and the look of them. So right here, what we've got is Canaan fir and balsam fir. So the Canaan firs, we like to explain that a Canaan is kind of a cross between a Fraser fir and a balsam fir, because those are the two that people are more used
Familiar
to
with,
and
yep.
familiar with. Exactly. Fraser's what I call kind of the Cadillac, and the balsam's a little bit more like, I don't know, say a Ford.
Sure.
And you got
Yep.
something in between for the Canaan. So
That makes
we've
sense.
been having really, really good luck with our Canaan firs. We really like them. But the difference in them, and you can see some of these, this is a balsam fir, and it's got a little bit flatter needles. You can also see that the underside, I'm not sure if you can see this very well, but the underside is much more silvery in color. And then the balsams are also really known for their smell. So they're going to bring in a lot of extra smell and that evergreen flavor that people are looking for kind of when they are looking for trees. So this is a Fraser. You can also see it's also got a nice silver color underneath, but the difference between this is that the needles kind of stand up a little bit better. It's not so flat of needle. Frasers are really known for two different things. All firs are good with their needle strength. So if you have heavier ornaments, it's going to hold up. But the Frasers are known for their longevity in their needle retention. So they're going to stay on the longest. As long as you're treating it right, you're watering it, you're keeping it in a not so dry place and things like that, it's going to really hold the needle retention for a long time.
Now, I'm doing a little bit of research because I'm not a tree. I mean, I grow things out in the garden, but not cut trees. But one of the things to look for is that the branches are kind of bendy. They don't just break off.
Correct.
In terms of when you're trying to bring in a Christmas tree.
Yep.
And these are also kind of little round-like, and that's the Fraser fir, right?
The Fraser fir is a little bit more of that round, and the needles kind of what I call stand up against or away from the branch.
Right.
You also want to grab a hold of your needles when you're at a farm or at a lot. Pull on those needles. If they come right off, that's probably too dry of a tree.
Because these are really nice.
Yep.
These feel like they're really fresh, and I'm sure it keeps them fresher out here in the cooler.
It
weather
does.
too.
Boy,
I
if
mean,
we
does that
could mist them, that would be even better. But
Well,
if we misted them, then they would freeze up.
Yeah.
So, but yes,
Sure.
misting them. That's why if you see some of the research is that having humidifiers in your home by the tree helps as well, because it's just that moisture. Keeping the moisture.
And then would you recommend cutting that bottom of the tree when you bring it home or when you're first bringing it in?
Absolutely. Some of these trees, in actuality, have been cut for a couple months.
Sure.
So
right,
they've been,
right.
These tree farms have thousands and tens of thousands of trees, so they have to process them early to get them going. So as soon as an evergreen tree is cut, all the cells and all the sap in them just drops right down to the bottom. It seals the bottom over. So in order to get that tree to start drinking again, it's got to be recut. So, and we always say if a customer is going to be able to put that in water within an hour or two at the most, then we we can cut it. But otherwise, if they think it's going to be a while or they're going to travel for a little distance, to wait to cut it until they're ready to get it in water. And it's going to drink a lot of water, a couple gallons.
So you would water them, twice a day or something, or
In
just
the beginning,
or be watching at least?
Yep. In the beginning, the first probably 3 days, I would guess. You're going to be looking at those probably twice a day. I also recommend the very first water that you put in there is hot, meaning boiling hot.
Okay.
That's going to really help that tree to start pulling up that moisture. And it can, drink a gallon of water or a couple gallons within a day. So, yes. So in the first couple days, you're going to watch it a couple times a day, but otherwise, once a day at least would be fine. Oop, we're going to lose one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why you had them tied down.
That's
we
right.
We have a windstorm coming today.
Yep.
Well, that's very awesome. So how many varieties of trees, we were talking about this earlier, that you usually carry?
We personally carry 4 different varieties.
Okay.
So we carry 3 varieties of fir. So the Fraser, the Canaan, and a Balsam fir. But then we also carry a pine. We usually carry white pine, but we don't get too many of those in. They're more commonly found in a lot of places. And now that we've been doing this for a couple years, they're really looking for the firs.
Yeah,
So we don't do the pines. The pines have much longer needles. You'll always know a pine because it's got the really long needles. Kind of the classic Christmas tree that you might have seen before or thought of, of Grandma and Grandpa's kind of thing.
Right.
But their branches are, because their needles are so much longer, and they could be 4 inches or better, their branches are a little softer, and so they're not very good for heavy ornaments. So if you've got heavy ornaments, then you want to stay away from the pines. But they're very pretty. They smell nice as well. Very soft needles as well, kind of like these are very nice and soft.
Yeah, this just looks like a Christmas tree to me. I mean, it's just so pretty.
The trees, when they're taken care of by the farms, as they're growing, they're sheared and shaped a lot as they're growing. And that's how they really can kind of force the tree into the shape they want it. Something that's becoming a little more popular is a more natural looking tree. So it's got more holes in it, it's got more, and it wasn't sheared as much and shaped as it was growing. So you can see that in some of our larger trees, but the smaller trees are a little more shaped. And those are great for, again, it's kind of a little wild look to it, kind of nice for more featured ornaments. If you've got really special featured ornaments and you want spaces for those, versus, there's not a ton of space for big ones. So, yeah.
Right. So they're printing them all year long, pretty much, while they're growing?
Not all year, but they've got definitely a portion of their year that they're shaping them. But then another big thing that they need to do is they need to take off the cones. So they're watching and taking off those cones. So people wonder why the Christmas tree prices keep going up is because there's a lot of work that goes into them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it takes, I think it's 7 to 10 years for a tree to grow after it's been planted.
Right. Well. That takes a lot of work. I know very well how much work it takes to grow things.
Yes, you do.
Can we go look at some of the bigger ones?
Absolutely.
Let's go check them out.
These are trees, they are mostly Canaans and balsams.
Okay.
We do not usually get Frasers that are this big. But you can see they're still pretty full.
They are.
Yep. And because this is, again, probably, actually it's a Canaan. This is a Canaan.
Okay.
Yep. And
it kind of is a cross between the
it is
the splatter needle and the rounder
and this
needle.
is a balsam, so you can see how much flatter that is. Sometimes they are hard to distinguish between because they are kind of that cross between them, so they're hard to tell.
And that's one of the key things, I guess, when you're picking your tree, is to realize what space you've got for the tree. Because I know we used to go on Grandpa's farm in Kansas and take cedars in, and we'd think, oh, that's a teeny tiny tree, and then you bring it.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yep.
So that's something you
Christmas
want to keep
vacation phenomenon. Yeah, we usually keep some tape measures around for people to do that, but more so it really helps just to pull it away.
Right.
Having an idea of what we've got here, like these are our 9 to 10 trees, but you can tell there's quite a difference. The one you're standing right by is pretty tall compared to this one where I'm standing by. diet. So we hold them up for people. We let them look around it. It helps to see, are there holes in it that they want to avoid and things like that. But you're always going to cut a good 2 inches off,
Right,
sometimes
of the
3
bottom.
inches off of the bottom. So that always makes a difference in the height. So.
And what's the tallest you bring in? Like 16 footers over here?
We do. We have some 12 to 16 foots. We've already had several of them go out. We have a
Yeah.
couple of them that get pre-ordered. They're a lot more of a natural wild look to them. And you can tell, it depends. Like if
I
you
love
think of the Rockefeller tree or the big trees that they might have in some of the other, featured places, they're pretty full and they're looking for it to be full. Where this is a lot more open. This is kind of that wild look to it. It's got the height, but it may not have the fullness. It's again more the natural kind of wild look to it. Like you literally went out to the forest and cut it down kind of thing. But at the same time, it's one of the balsams. I believe
This is a
it's
balsam?
a balsam. See, sometimes they're pretty close. We
Yeah,
can't
they
quite
are.
tell.
They are.
Yeah, yeah.
They are.
I'm pretty sure I didn't get any really big ones that were anything other than
that?
Balsams. Yeah.
Well, so next year I'll know. I just need to get a hold of you and order a tree in January.
That's right. Yeah.
The following year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've got a couple people who were asking this year for 16-foot pines.
Wow.
They really wanted a big pine. So they wanted the long needles. They wanted it to look more like a, again, that's probably more of what was, in Christmas Vacation kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but we have to look around for those a little bit too. We have to put that request in with our farmers and see if that's something they've got or not. So we've got a couple family members that specifically order the wilds because they look that way. And they've got a lot of space for big, maybe heirloom type ornaments that they want to feature and stuff. So they look beautiful.
They are pretty. Well, thank you so much for giving us your time and now I know.
Now you know. Absolutely. Yeah, like we said, those key things is making sure that they're pliable and get the needles hold on well.
Well, thanks again. I really appreciate your time, and I think everybody will have learned something.
Yeah.
I sure did.
Good. Very good. Well, thank you for coming.
Yep. Well, thanks for joining us for this episode. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. If you have any ideas for future episodes, leave them in the comment section. And if you can hit the notification bell and subscribe, that helps us out too. So thanks. Happy holidays. Woo. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more, hit the like button, the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel.